beautiful souls. Happy Mystical Monday. Thank you guys for joining me again for your weekly vibe check. I hope you guys are doing super, super well. So let's just talk a little bit about the full moon in Pisces that we experienced last week, because I know a lot of us are feeling perhaps a bit drained from that. For those of you who are unaware, last week, I believe it was last Wednesday, we experienced a full moon in Pisces. Now, Pisces is a very watery, divine feminine, very emotional energy. And when the full moon is in Pisces, us energy workers kind of dread it. we dread it in the moment, at least, because we know that it's going to be a bit of a rough one. Whilst we're emotionally, purging the past. And a lot of us feel, along with the usual symptoms of full moon energy, right? Insomnia, increased appetite. Those of you divine feminines who are on a natural cycle will also be experiencing your sacred time of the month, ladies, over a full moon. So it's pretty. Let's be honest. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough and disruptive. And although we know it serves its purpose, it's still not exactly pleasant. At the time. But we know it's necessary, and we know that it's actually very productive in the long run. So we're not scared of full moons, right? But full moon in Pisces, a lot of people don't like it, like really, really don't like it, because Pisces brings with it real deep emotional purge, and I certainly felt it. I'm sure many of you were experiencing hardcore insomnia. The whole week leading up to the full moon, eating like a horse, and just very 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 dense, heavy kind of vibes. Lots of crying, lots of emotional purge, looking to the past, and kind of feeling like we're stuck there for a couple of days. But the good news is we are now 4 days the other side of that full moon now. So we are all five by the time we get to you guys actually seeing this video. So it is starting to lift. I think perhaps those of you who have noticed that you've not been sleeping too well, maybe last night, the night before, you actually got some decent Z's in. Full moon energy is definitely lifting, so that's the good news. I really hope that you guys took the opportunity to have a real purge and you didn't bury your heads in the sand. I know it's a very easy thing to do, because when we're faced with doing the work sometimes on ourselves, it can be very scary, especially when it's unknown. And it's something that we've not done before, we've not experienced, so we don't know if we're going to make it, right? So we have that kind of thought process, like, oh, I can't look at myself in a mirror like this because I don't know if I can survive the encounter. If you feel that way, you've definitely got a lot of work to do, and it's definitely worth doing. If you don't feel that way, then well done. That means you've done a fair amount of work, and you're not afraid of change. You're not afraid to look at yourself in the mirror. But this full moon in Pisces definitely helped us to move closer towards our true selves. So long as you embraced the exercise and you had yourself a good cry and you did cast your mind back over to the past. What emotions are you hanging on to that are just really not serving you anymore? If anything, they're probably hindering you. They're probably actively hindering you now in your life. So this is what the full moon in Pisces was all about for us last week. We are also we are in Virgo season. So if you want to know more about what that means, then it might be worth going and having a look at last week's Mystical Monday video, because I do talk about that a little bit more in depth, because we were at a significant point within Virgo season that I spent some time talking about it. Now we are just full bore into Virgo season. Okay, so this is self-improvement, inner reflection, being in the inner world and seeing what we can improve on. That's what this month is for up until certainly the 22nd-ish of September. And I say ish because on the 23rd is when we step into Libra season. So we've still got a couple of weeks yet. But it's worth knowing, right? Because I know we're doing a weekly vibe check, but it's worth knowing what's going on, 4 to 6, even 8 weeks ahead of time when it comes to astrology, so that we can kind of plan our route through it, and make sure that we're really using all of the opportunities that are being laid out before us to the highest degree. So on that note, let's dive straight into the cards, shall we? Okay, so let's just dive right in. Let's see what the energies are doing right now for us. Where are we at? Where are we at? Wolf instinct. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more before I start on that, actually, because one just flew. It flew and it flew under my desk. Aha, okay. This helps a little bit with context, right? A few messages came through when I saw that wolf, so this narrows it down a little bit. Once again, I do feel like I'm tapping into several collectives, so apologies for seeming a bit all over the place. I'm going to do my very best to into one pocket of people, but we'll see. Okay, so there's a few of okay, there is a pocket of the collective. In fact, before I start, right, on that note about pockets of collectives, just take from this reading what resonates. Okay, take what resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, then it's probably not a message for you. Okay, although it might still be worth bearing in mind, because I have noticed that sometimes I read that far ahead that it's not relevant to you now, but it might be a little bit later down the line. So just bear that in mind, you guys. Okay, so some of you are on autopilot. You are in survival mode. Yes. Okay, you're in survival mode, some of you. By survival mode, what I mean is ego is active, soul has taken a back seat. Soul is still aware. Let's say soul is... they're all in the same vehicle, right? But those who are not in the driver's seat are just looking out the windows. Your soul is doing that right now. Not all of you, to be clear. This is a select set of people. So if that makes sense to you, that maybe you're in survival mode, then this message is for you. Okay, so I'm going to explain that because it may have been confusing. The vision that Aurora has given me is that there's ego at the helm. Ego is in the driver's seat. When ego is in the driver's seat, we're in survival mode. Okay, because ego is not creative, but it is a problem solver. And ego is specifically designed to keep our vessel alive. That's literally what it's for. It's a physical part of your physical human brain. It has nothing to do with anything else. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your hopes, your dreams, your desires. It has nothing to do with your creative center. It's purely there to keep you alive. That's all it's there for. So when we're in survival mode, we are usually very, very stressed, because the ego is stepping forward and it is attempting to keep you, it's attempting to keep your physical body alive, in a situation that's physically stressful, right? So in an actual real survival situation, this would absolutely be required. You know, if you're stranded in this sort of landscape and you're all alone, like the long dark or something, and you got wolves after you, you know, and there's no hope of rescue, you're going to be in survival mode, right? You're not going to be standing around in the forest like Bob Ross, like painting the mountains, right? That's soul versus ego, okay? When we're in that kind of survival mode, we're very stressed. We usually don't sleep. We usually don't eat, really. You'll find yourself going to the bathroom a lot because your body is in flight response or it's in fight response, one or the other. So you'll be very, very angry, snappy, and really challenging with people. Very confrontational. That's fight mode. Or flight mode will be, no, I can't even handle this conversation right now. I don't want to talk to you. You know, that kind of energy. Like, I'm just not even going to leave my bed today. I'm too afraid, right? This is survival mode. There's only two modes of survival mode, right? Now, the issue with this is that a lot of you are not stranded in the mountains. You're probably nice and warm, cozy somewhere watching this reading, right? And if you're watching me on this reading, you're definitely not, you know, in the mountains actually needing to be in survival mode. The trouble is, ego is not very clever. And if you're quite depressed, perhaps, or you're just very, very unhappy, dealing with anxiety, whatever it is that you have on your plate right now, my love, if it's stressing you out, causing you pain, and it's causing you anything negative, your ego is going to step up and it's going to try and rescue you. And the trouble with that is that ego is not clever enough to realize that this isn't a survival situation. It's not. It's just a case of you're not very happy right now, and let's not blow it out of proportion, okay? You're just not happy. That's all it is. And that is very easily rectified with a few simple things. But ego decides to step up and rescue you. And when ego does that, frankly, it fucks everything up. Because it blows it out of proportion, makes a mountain out of a molehill. It makes you feel like you need to survive, like you're not safe. Whereas 9 times out of 10 is probably really not the case. Might be the tip of it, you know, but it's the tippy tip. It's not, and it's not the whole iceberg, if that makes sense. Aurora was giving me many visuals there, so I hope that makes sense to you guys. So a wake-up call is required, right? We have tsunami here, wake-up call. So for those of you who are in survival mode, if you can relate to all the things that I've just said, there's a wake-up call energy around you right now. Something's gonna just snap you out of it. I can't tell you what it is because I'm not a mind reader, and it's entirely up to you how you want to manifest that energy, you know, into the physical. I'm an energy reader, right? So I'm reading the energy that's around you, but it's up to you how you want to take that energy and then turn it into something. My suggestion would be to take that wake-up call energy and just really hardcore embrace it, because you don't need to be in survival mode, my love. You might feel like maybe sometimes you're in a bit of a survival, but you're not, okay? And depression and anxiety and ego and all of these things combined can make things seem a lot worse than they actually are. You just need to get your right head on. That's all it is. And so that wake-up call is coming. That energy is definitely around this week for those of you who need it. We'll tap in a minute to other pockets of the collective and see what other energies are hanging around, because I feel like there's different energies hanging around for different people. So we'll see what we get. So following along then, we have ceremony invocation. So what Spirit is saying, for those of you who are or have been recently in survival mode, The wake up call energy is around so that you can realize it and so that you can just rein it in a bit. You know, switch driver's seat with your ego. Throw your ego in the back seat because it doesn't need to be driving. It doesn't have a sat nav. It doesn't know where it's going. It's totally fucking it up. Like, when you're in the driver's seat, then you know things move forward in your favor. Like, you know where you're going. Right. So ceremony invocation. So here what we're seeing then, Spirit is asking for the energies that are around to be used more consciously. Rather than being at the mercy of life, you, all of you, have the opportunity any moment, but just to simplify it, let's say every single day, every single morning when you wake up, that is a fresh opportunity for you to seize the day before it seizes you. And how many of us just have coasted through life and just allowed the day to seize us? How many people say, let's see what tomorrow brings? Right? This is an outdated way of thinking. Spirit is asking us to decide what we want to happen the next day and then live that reality. We are in charge here, you guys. And I think a lot of us have just completely forgotten that. Lost touch with it. You know, we're in survival mode. We're just at the mercy of we're on our knees. You know, at the mercy of anything that happens to us. And that's how we see it, that it's happening to us. It's not happening for us. But actually it is, right? You guys see my point. So this energy is around, all right? Hopefully some of what, I know that came out very disjointed, but hopefully some of that will ring true for some of you, and you'll be able to find a way this week to really start working with the universe. Because Spirit isn't against us. Let's remember this too. Spirit is not out to get you. It's not a kid with a magnifying glass and we're not ants, you know. And I know a lot of us feel that way, especially when we're here in survival mode. So let's move on. Let's see. Let's have a look at a completely different pocket of the collective and see. I have a feeling Spirit's going to step in, and that's always the way. I can pick up a deck of cards and say, I want to know this, but that doesn't mean that Spirit is going to give me that. Way too many. Okay, so we have mountain, strength, we have fire, passion. I think I know what's going on here. Okay, and then we have dragonfly, emergence. These are tied together, okay? So, right, thank you. Okay, Aurora's just explained that to me. That makes so much sense. Thank you. Okay. Right. There's lots of little pockets of collectives, as I've been saying over the last couple of weeks. However, Spirit is aligning us all. Which now I think, you know, I apply my logical brain to that. That makes sense, right? All these little pockets are being aligned so that we're one big collective again. So some of us are on this journey right now. Some of us are already on this journey. Those of you who are on this journey, you're ultimately meant to be on this journey. You're meant to be here right now, okay, because you're learning something. And you can't be here unless you do this bit first, if you're here. But if you've already done this bit, then you're here, right? So this is what we're all aligning to, all of us. We're emerging into our true selves. Dragonfly, okay, so dragonfly imagery is very important as a spirit or a totem animal. Dragonflies, okay, IRL, right? Nothing to do with legend. This is real, right? many of you probably know this already, but dragonflies spend 3 years under the surface of the pond water, living as a little nymph, or a big nymph. Some of them get quite big. But they live for 3 whole years before they become a dragonfly, living in the murky depths of some horrible pond, scratching through the dirt. You know, it's very, the dragonfly imagery is very reminiscent of the lotus flower imagery, because the lotus flower has a very similar story, where the seed, you know, sits at the bottom of the pond in all the silt and the mud, and it takes years. I forget how many. I actually think it might be 3. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but spends a few years growing as, you know, this beautiful lily, water lily, lotus flower, and it's not till it gets to the surface that it will bloom. Well, the same thing happens with a dragonfly, similar. Will spend 3 years under the surface of the water. So, you know, you could liken that to us scrapping around in the dirt trying to figure out who we are and what we're doing and where we're going. And then little Mr. Dragonfly Nymph crawls out of the pond and becomes a beautiful dragonfly, and then lives for 1 day, and then it breeds in that day, and then it dies. It spends most of its life learning, and then it spends 1 day living the dream, let's say. So many of you might think that's a very bleak kind of imagery to be sort of basing our lives off of, but actually personally I find it very beautiful, because we're not here to have a good time, we're here to learn. And we can have a good time whilst we're here, absolutely, but that's not why we came here. We didn't come here like, we weren't floating around in, you know, in source energy and like, I fancy a vacation. Do you fancy a vacation? Where should we go? Oh, I know, let's go live a human lifetime. Let's go be human on Earth. Yeah, let's have a vacation from being souls or whatever. No. we all know that this shit is not Disneyland, right? So we came here to learn. We came here to suffer so that we could learn stuff. And so dragonfly imagery, I think, is very poignant at this time, because this is ultimately where we're headed. You know, we all want to emerge as the best version of ourselves. We all want to emerge as the dragonfly. So this is what we're aiming towards. Now, on the same vein, many of us have found our strength. Many of us over the course of this year have learned, it doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter how. The end result is what matters. Because I was about to go into that, but Aurora just reminded me it's the end result that matters when we're talking about things of this nature. Doesn't matter how, but we found our strength over this year. We've learned to be self-sufficient. We've learned to be self-reliant. We've learned to be less dependent on other people and more reliant on other people, because there is a very big difference between dependence and reliance. And for some of you who may be questioning that, reliance is being able to rely on somebody. You know, if there's something that you need that you can't provide for yourself, you can rely on somebody. Depending on somebody is that you didn't even try to do it yourself first. You are in the belief that you can't do it for yourself. You can't. And so you depend on somebody else, in that if that person wasn't there, you would completely fall apart. Whereas when you're reliant on somebody and that person goes, no, I can't do that for you, it's not the end of the world to you. Okay, so that's the difference between reliance and dependence. You need to learn to depend on yourself and rely on yourself, but not depending on other people, because that puts you in a position of reinforced weakness. You know, and that's obviously not healthy for your mind, among other things. So 2020 has been a rough one, as we all know. It's been a rough one for everybody in very varying different ways. But again, the how doesn't matter. Where we're at now is we're strong. We're strong for it. We've been through the ringer. We're out the other side now. We are tapping into the parts of ourselves that we didn't even know existed. And it's strength, among many other things, but there's great strength that we have gained in that. And we are desiring more too. I feel that the energy that's around this week is definitely a bit fiery. It's a bit, it's ideas driven. It's right, okay, let's move forward sort of energy. So this is where we're all being aligned to. So wherever you're at right now, even if that does not resonate with you right now, it will. This is where our collective is being aligned to right now. So let's have a look then what else is going on. Let's see what's going on in the physical, shall we? We are in Virgo season, so we're very inward. It feels a little bit like the pause button has been hit on the external reality. Although that's not totally accurate, because obviously life does go on. But during Virgo season, generally not really much happens in the physical reality to give us chance to go within and really use the Virgo vibes. So look at that, more fire. The Fire Prince, optimism and aggression. Okay, so fire energy is very wild, it's very rampant. It's very unpredictable, there's that optimism, but there's also aggression that goes with it, so there's a lot of fiery energy around you guys. It's everywhere really, but it's also in the physical. Right, we have card number 11. My attention's just been drawn to that. The Hawk Prince, spirit communication and paying attention. I'll just use that word. Okay, all right, yes, I understand, thank you. All right, so with all this fiery energy around, it can very easily get out of control. We know that if you build a fire in the wilderness and you don't put like rocks around it, you might set the whole fucking lot on fire. Let's view it this way, okay? That fire that is growing inside you, that passion, that forward momentum, that forward drive that you have, it's growing. It might be a little flame right now within you, but it is going to become an inferno. It is going to become an inferno. It is. All right, so we need to look out for that, and be aware of that, and be aware that when make sure that we're not sort of going off on people because we're getting very, very passionate about something. We're getting so wrapped up in it that we're not really being very self-aware at that point, because that's the danger with fire. Now we have the Hawk Prince paying attention. So Spirit is asking, and we've got Spirit communication. So Spirit is going to be telling us how to direct that fire, but we need to pay attention so we don't burn down our whole forest. Okay, Spirit's going to be communicating with us through numbers and through music. Spirit communicates with us through everything, but for those of you who maybe don't normally notice synchronicities, or you think it's bullshit because you hear other people talking about it, you're like, whatever, it's just numbers. Just look out for numbers. You're going to get a lot of consecutive numbers. Aurora's telling me lots of 2s, lots of 4s as well. 2 for physical change and 4 for spiritual support. But you know, you might get other consecutive numbers. They might be reoccurring numbers or consecutive numbers. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, card 11, 1, 1. It's the number of twin flame unions and soul flame union. But it is also 11 or 111 or 1111 is also the number of one, self, one, oneness, wholeness, togetherness. One, new beginnings, the beginning of a journey. You know, 11 is a very, very powerful number, and we've got that straight away with the spirit communication card. Also look out for music. Spirit's going to be talking to you through music. Think Bumblebee from Transformers, right? You'll be thinking about something in particular, and you will get an immediate answer as a car drives by you with the windows down, and you'll hear one set of lyrics. That will be your answer. Or you'll walk into the store just as someone singing something, and you're like, oh damn, that was coincidence. No, it wasn't. That was a synchronicity. There is no such thing as coincidence. You are always in the right place at the right time, and no, you're not crazy. Yes, source energy is talking to you, so embrace it. This is going to be going on a lot over the next week, especially for those of you who are new to this journey when it comes to awareness. Those of you who are not really used to spotting the synchronicities, and maybe you've just started to, or you've just been reading about it, or you just found out about it and you're interested to actually start experiencing it, belt up. Is going to be a fast ride this week. You're going to get a lot of synchronicities, music and numbers. Okay, so we also have card 22. Okay, there's your first set of twos. What did I just say a minute ago? Wind it back 30 seconds. I just said you're going to see lots of twos and lots of fours. I'm interested to see now if we get any fours. Did we get any? We got card 40. I'm not going to say that counts. Okay, so we've got the resting tree, card 22. Patience and stillness. Now, before we move on to this card, this one here, Aurora wants to point out that being card 22 and 2, the number of change within the physical, the external realm, lots of you have not been still, and lots of you have not been calm, and lots of you have not been patient. But you're just starting to embrace it now, and that's what the 2 is. So those of you who I was talking to just a minute ago, and I was saying you're going to see lots of 2s, you're going to see lots of 4s. I mean, that could be for everybody, but when I said that, I was really directing that more at people who are new to all of this kind of stuff. I mean, you're not, but your awareness is new to all of this stuff. Your perspective on things is just going to get completely turned around this week. Embrace it. Embrace it. There's a reason for it all. And I really feel that set of people are really going to learn this week that there is a difference between sitting on your ass and doing nothing and just being still and being patient. There's a real big difference between those two things. Outwardly, it looks the same, but the intention is completely different. The energy within you is completely different, and that is going to change this week. So embrace it. Don't be under any illusion here that because you're still and you're calm and you're resting, that you're not getting anything done. If anything, my lovely, you are getting way more done than when you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off, stressed, in survival mode, with your ego being in charge. That's not getting anything done. I mean, it might be on face value, you know, in the external, but energetically, you're getting fuck all done in the long run. Absolutely fuck all. I'm just going to be totally blunt about that. absolutely fuck all. Energy counts for everything. It really does. And being still and being gentle and being calm and being patient and knowing, not believing, knowing that that thing that you want is on its way to you, but you've got to be patient and you've got to be still. You've got to be calm. You've got to be in that state of knowing it's going to come to you. That is what brings things to you. Whereas this headless chicken energy actively repels what you want from you. So I feel mindsets are really going to be changing this week for a lot of people. We've also got the ringmaster of scrutiny. Okay, it's discernment, clear vision, and details. Yes. Long gone will be this week the days that the details were so heavily focused on, to the point where you couldn't even see anymore. Talk about blinkered vision, right? When you're just so hung up on the details of a situation, you can't move. You put yourself in a straitjacket. So focus less on the details and look more look more at the bigger picture. There's the words. Thank you, Aurora. She's saying you've got to focus on the bigger picture, because the bigger picture is, it helps you to stay on course. It helps you to figure out where you're going. It's too easy to get turned around, especially when you're doing this and you're just looking down all the time and you're just looking at the details and you're not lifting your head up every once in a while. Right, have I got turned around? Do I know where I'm going? Oh right, yeah, I'm heading over there. I know it's weird because I'm trying to put the spiritual journey into like physical terms, but I feel that's the best way to describe it. So yes, lots of attitudes and things are gonna switch up. I mean, to be honest, anything that comes your way, ever, embrace it. It doesn't mean that you have to take an opportunity, but you at least consider it, And anything that comes your way where you're learning a lesson, anything that feels uncomfortable, any kind of discomfort, you're learning something, and embracing it is just the best way that you could ever move forward. So here we've got Witch's Cottage, security, and then Chalice, fulfillment. Many of you have home goals. You have goals when it comes to your home and domestic life. A lot of you are nesting. And if you're not actively nesting, you're thinking about nesting. You're thinking about making your house a home. You're thinking about the ultimately where you'd like to settle and have your family and live your life. It's coming. Hold the vision. Hold the vision, you guys. Some of you, it might come this week. I feel more than likely it will take much longer than that, because the things that you guys are aiming for they're big things, which is great. You've got to dream big. You have to dream big, because when you dream big, there's just so many. We'll be here all day. Dream big, guys. Okay, just take my word for it. Dream big. There's so many incredible things that come from that. Not only you get to live your big dream, but there's many other things too that we benefit from, like getting that creative flow, etc. I will be here all day. But yes, hold the vision, you guys. Many of you are really you have a vision of like the perfect ultimate home for you, and you can have it. Anything is possible in this reality. You need to shift your perspective from dreaming to a plan. I'm going to do this. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to do this versus one day, question mark, I'm going to do this. I am going to do this, and I am going to experience this before I pass over and move on. I am going to do this. You see the difference in those perspectives. The vision and the dream is the same, but the intention and the attitude towards it is different. One is, wouldn't it be nice? And one is, it will be nice. I am going to have it. So more attitudes being shifted, I feel, as well this week. A whole lot of stuff. Right, okay, I understand. Full moon in Pisces last Wednesday fucked a lot of us up in that it tripped us up. Even those of us who were fully expecting and knowing what was going to happen, it still tripped us up a bit. It was very, very intense, but Aurora's just explaining that it was necessary to purge all of that stuff out, because a lot of us were purging emotional trauma from the past that is actively holding us back from the mindset I was just talking about. You know, the difference between wouldn't it be cool if I could have this versus one day I'm going to have this. I can see the collective with this like shroud over it, and it's lifting. I can see it just being lifted off. It's letting the sunlight through now, and we feel a lot more free. We feel a lot more in control of ourselves, and therefore more in control of our lives. A lot of us are understanding that we have 100% control over ourselves, but we have 0% control over anything external to us. And a lot of us are finding safety and security in that, which is great. Because understanding that, I think, is pretty fundamental to being able to manifest really much of anything. So if you're a nester, okay, if you're one of these people and this message resonates for you, really hold and amplify that vision. Turn up the volume on that vision, and start putting a few little details in, okay? So like earlier when I was saying don't get hung up on the details, right? Because the details fuck us up. But it depends on the situation, okay? If this is like a problem, something that you view as a problem, and you're focusing on the details, that's when you get tripped up. But when it comes to you dreaming and building a good life for yourself, in here first, because everything starts with a thought, you've got to dig into the details. You know, what kind of floor is in the kitchen in your house? What colour are your bedroom walls? What's the bed linen look like? What's it feel like when you get into bed at night? What's the temperature, the ambient temperature of your home? You know, when you're building visions for you to later live, you need to know what those details are, the minuscule details, because spirit has more to work off of then. It knows what to give you and what not to give you. I think I'm going to make a video about that at some point, actually, because that's just sparked a story that I'd like to tell, but we're running out of room. We are running out of room, but we're running out of time for this reading. So we're going to skip that. We'll come back to it another day, but just take my word for it, okay? Details when it comes to your dreams and your desires. So do that a little bit this week. This proverbial shroud or veil, as I was talking about a minute ago, it definitely, I can see it lifting from people. I can see it lifting from the collective in general. People are starting to understand that the things that they thought were never possible, they are totally possible. There's so much shift and change, and I know that's why I keep tapping into this collective, then this collective, then this collective, and these little pockets of collectives. There's just so much going on, and everybody is doing their own thing right now. But let's not forget the ultimate thing that we're aligning to are these right here. Okay, so this is ultimately where we're headed. So I'm doing my best to, I'm being a sheepdog right now. I'm trying to like bring everybody in into one place, you know. So let's move into another couple of different decks, just so Spirit has the opportunity to really speak. What else to expect this week? What kind of energy we're in? It feels very warm, fiery, lots of ideas, lots of, I feel passionate about this sort of conversations going on this week. People climbing up onto that creative wagon again. After all the purge from last week, we weren't particularly creative last week, but the energy just in general definitely feels way more creative for this coming week. Yes. Don't let your past hold you back, okay? I was just talking about purge. We also have Leo energy. Confidence is the key to your success anymore. No. Yes, new moon in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. Okay, few messages here then. Few here. Whew. Okay, where to start? Right. Don't let your past hold you back, okay? This is what I was just saying. Pisces full moon was all about purge. Uh-oh, my camera's frozen. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm really glad I noticed. Yes, don't let your past hold you back. This full moon in Pisces was all about purging the past. So if you're still hung up on past stuff this week, it's because you weren't embracing that energy from the full moon. I'm not getting at you. That's okay. Maybe you didn't know. That's fine. And a lot of us, when we feel like we're going to cry, we don't want to cry. Like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the video, you know, for some of us, taking that look in the mirror and actually letting go of the past and releasing it is a really tough thing to do. We don't want it. It's not pleasant, is it? It doesn't feel nice doing it, so a lot of us avoid doing it. That is a problem, my lovely, okay? Again, not getting at you, but if it's something uncomfortable, running away from it is definitely, you're not learning anything. You're avoiding learning something, and if something's feeling uncomfortable to you, it's because you need to learn something. That's why we go into this, don't we? We go into this whole exercise of being human. We go into the whole self-improvement thing so that we can learn how to no longer feel discomfort, so that we can feel joy, pleasure, and deep happiness 100% of the time. That's the aim and that's the goal. So if you run away from feelings of discomfort, that's the opposite of that. You're learning how to stay away from those situations. But the trouble is, human life is absolutely drenched in experiences that make you feel uncomfortable. So become more versatile. And I mean, you are you're a human being. Human beings are versatile as fuck. Human beings can like survive in all sorts of situations and find joy in all sorts of things too. It's all about perspective. We are very, very powerful creatures. Tap into that. Stop running away from stuff, you know? Again, not getting at you, really not. But I want people to be the best version of themselves for you, not nothing to do with me. You know, I want people to be deeply happy 100% of the time. When something comes up and when some sort of situation crops up, that no one feels any kind of pain or discomfort, because everyone is the epitome of themselves and can just handle it straight off the bat. That's what I want for everybody. I want that for me and I want that for you. So don't let the past hold you back. You can do this, you know, and letting go of something that you experienced that caused you trauma is way easier than reliving the trauma. isn't it? Because I know if I ask that question, do you want to go back there and do that all over again? Or do you just want to completely release it and live a happy life now? I know what the answer would be 100% of the time. So don't do it to yourself anymore, okay? Just because full moon Pisces energy has now dissipated doesn't mean that you have to wait until the next full moon in Pisces before you can. No, no, no. Hell no. You have free will. You can choose to do whatever you want, whenever you want. You are completely free. You are not a caged animal. You can do whatever you want. So if you don't want to let the past hold you back anymore, then start today. Let go of it today. However you need to do that, go and burn a bunch of stuff very safely, you know, things from the past, letters and stuff like that from the past. Go throw it on a bonfire or something tonight. You know, set it on fire, set it free, set yourself free. So on that note, then we have new moon in Leo. Confidence is the key to your success. Okay, confidence is belief in yourself. It's self-esteem. It's belief in yourself. And the lion, you know, you be the lion. Be the lion, you guys. We're fresh out of Leo energy. We're now in Virgo season, but we were in Leo season. And Leo season carried a lot of strength and self-confidence, divine masculine energy. Muster that. It's still in you. Muster that to help you to let go of this shit that's just holding you back. And meditate and contemplate. Okay, so this new moon in Pisces, we've just had full moon in Pisces. New moon in Pisces is new beginnings. Now that you've made the decision to let it go, it's not going to happen overnight. Okay, your ego, your mind, your trained mind will still flit back to those things that you've released. It doesn't mean it's not in your head anymore. It just means when your head decides to conjure it up for you, like, oh, thanks, brain, it doesn't bother you. You're just like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Wouldn't it be nice to get to that point with your trauma? And let's stop calling it trauma too, because that holds us back. We're elevating it. It's trauma. We're traumatized by it. No. You know, it's down there. It's a little bit, it's a little speck, it's a little blip on your timeline. Yeah, that was a thing that happened. I viewed it as trauma when it was, you know, it wasn't a blip. It's a blip to me now, but at the time it wasn't. I can acknowledge, I can appreciate, and I could be grateful for that, in a way. But and I could be humbled by it too, because I learned a lot. But now it's a blip, and now that it's a blip on my timeline and it doesn't bother me, and doesn't ruin my day anymore. You know, it's a new beginning now for me emotionally. New moon in Pisces, new beginning in your emotional center. When I view that as being a little blip on my timeline rather than this like, oh my gosh, it's trauma. You know, I'm not under it. I'm not like trying to hold it off, the weight off me. Like I'm going to get crushed by it if I let my guard down. And the fact that now it's a little blip and not this huge thing, I can see how far I've grown, because I shrunk this gigantic thing down into this tiny little blip that I just popped down on my timeline. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't matter anymore. That's just a thing that happened. Do you see what I mean? I know I'm probably not explaining these things too well right now. I don't know really where my brain is today, but I hope that makes sense. You know, so many of us like buried under our trauma because we keep calling it trauma, and we keep saying things like, I'm traumatized by that. I am are the two most powerful words that you can string together ever. I am. Be careful what you finish that sentence with, because spirit is listening to you. And if you're saying things like, I am traumatized, or I am unhappy, I am no good at this, I am a complete waste of oxygen, you know, if you're saying things like this, spirit's listening to that, and all spirit ever does is agree with you. It will agree with you. It's always got your back, always, and it will always agree with you. So start saying nice things. I am strong. I am the lion. I am capable. I am 100% in control of myself. I am not my trauma. I am not my past. I am, insert name here. I am happy. etc., etc. I mean, look up affirmations if you're struggling with that kind of stuff. Have a look in the Discord. I'll leave the link in the description below for you guys so you can join the Discord and have a look at the positive affirmations channel. It gives you, there's hundreds of I ams in there for you to choose from, you know, and have a little read through if you get stuck. But Spirit hears that and goes, yeah, you are. I am strong. Yeah, you are. I am the lion's energy. Yeah, you are. Equally, if you're saying, I am sad, I am unhappy, Spirit's going, yeah, you are. Because it's always got your back, you see. It's always agreeing with you. So watch your mouth. Watch your speech. Meditate, contemplate, think about the things that you want to release. Think about the things that you did release over the full moon. I'm not saying dwell on them, but just acknowledge it. Think about it. Meditate. Contemplate. Consider where you are now on your journey, on your map, compared to where you were over the full moon of last week. Acknowledge and recognize how far you've come, you guys. Because you have. You've survived 100% of your bad days. And you've learned so much. Look how far you've come. Be proud of yourself. Be the lion, okay? Be the lion. Be Leo lion, divine masculine incarnate, sunshine incarnate. Be proud of your journey. Be proud of your strength. Be proud of the things that you've learned. You have come so far. And yeah, it doesn't matter. In this moment, between you and me, it doesn't matter how far you've yet to go. Let's just take a moment to look backwards and just acknowledge, I'm here right now, and where was I last week? Where was I last month? Where was I 6 months ago? And where was I this time last year? Worlds apart, right? Well done. Seriously, well done. You are so fucking strong, and now you need to acknowledge that and be proud of yourself for it. Yep, you might still have a way to go, but every journey begins with a single step. I hate to sound, you know, cliche or whatever, but it's true. You got to start somewhere. And where you're at right now, you've taken a big hefty chunk out of what it is that you need to do in order to be the best version of yourself and to live your best life. Well done. You're doing so well. Just keep it up. Keep up the momentum. Keep up the energy. We're just going to grab some last messages here to wrap up this reading because we are approaching an hour. I don't want to make these readings too long. I do really appreciate, by the way, your feedback in the comments. Thank you guys. And also in the Discord. Thank you guys. We are going to stick to the long readings, but I'm not keen to make them any longer than an hour ish. So we're not going to shorten the readings. Readings will only be shorter if Spirit has nothing to say. She's quite the chatterbox, so I don't see that happening. Beautiful. Okay, so last messages then from the Unicorn Oracle. We've got let go of stress. Let go of stress. Don't take on other people's stress. Breathe it out now. We're going to do this literally right now. We're going to do 3 nice deep breaths. In through your nose. Don't hold your breath. When your lungs reach full capacity, just a very gentle... Let it go through your mouth. Don't hold your breath. In through your nose. Through your mouth. Drop your shoulders down. Do a little roll just to make sure that they're all the way down. So many people sit like this all the time. No wonder you feel stressed, right? You've got your shoulders up around your ears. Drop them. One last breath. Breathe out that stress. You don't need that. Stop holding on to that. And then we've got worth waiting for. Your patience will be rewarded. How beautiful is that? Okay, so this week is not about physical stuff. This week is about in the inner world. This is inside stuff. This is recognizing how far you've come, giving yourself the opportunity to come out of survival mode and to start consciously using that energy. Consciously. Channeling it into your strength. Channeling it into your strength and your passion, the things that you're passionate about, the things that you love to do, the things that bring you joy. Emerging into those beautiful dragonflies and remembering that we're here for the lessons, the self-improvement and the growth. We're not here for anything really other than that. And anything other than that we experience is a delightful bonus. And there's no reason why we can't go after that. You know, we can definitely go after that, and that can be one of our reasons for the endurance race that this seems to be. Race is the wrong word to use, but it's not the reason that we came here. We didn't come here for vacation. And as soon as we recognize this, embrace this, life suddenly gets way easier, because we're aware. We're aware and we're conscious when there's a lesson to be learned, and we don't resist it. We don't run away from it. We're just like, yeah, okay, all right. Honestly, I know this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck for as long as it takes. It's gonna feel very uncomfortable. But I'm going to learn something so deep and profound from it that next time life brings that same lesson around, it will not affect me in the same way. It will not bring me discomfort. I'll actually be able to find joy whilst enduring it, because this time around, I'm learning how to do that. Okay, so I will leave you guys with that. I really hope that these messages serve you super well in this coming week. It looks like this week's going to be, you know, still lots of changes and things, but happening in the inner world. So as long as they're being embraced by you guys, then shaping up to be a good week already energetically. So I wish you all the best with that, you guys. And, you know, if you're interested in becoming more involved in the community, you're looking to meet other community members, you want to come and join us over on Twitch, I'll leave all the links in the description below to join the Twitch and the Discord. Discord is where our central kind of hub is for our community, the Cosmos Collective. So do come and join us. And if you guys wanted maybe a reading that's personalized to you, I do offer private readings. Again, go on over to Twitch and or the Discord for details as to how to contact me to book a reading with me. You can also get live readings on Twitch too. All the information's down below, so I'll leave you with that. So, you know, if you liked the video and you found the information useful, then maybe just give the like button a little tickle. And if you're enjoying the content so far on this channel, you know, maybe subscribe. And don't forget to slap that notification bell right in his little face. So have a wonderful week, everybody. And remember that you are worthy, and you are very beautiful, and you are very strong, and you've come a really long way. And you are allowed to be proud of yourself. And you deserve to have everything that you desire.